Hello, everyone, and welcome to, well, we've decided to call it Lunch Date.
Yes.
So
I
this is
already have my burrito. It's
there we
here.
go. You're ready to go. So this is my first ever attempt at interviewing
Exciting.
someone who I greatly admire. I've been admiring for a very, very long time. And David Hermlin has agreed to be the first guest for the Stanley Biggs Journal. Thank you so much, David. It's lovely to actually finally meet you properly.
Kinda. I mean, it's still via social media, but at least we see each other and we talk,
We do.
and it's a different experience definitely than chatting.
Yes, yes. And so for those of anyone who's listening, for those that do not know David Hermlin,
How
uh,
dare they?
how dare they? David is the most amazing. I'm a huge fan. Brilliant musician,
Oh,
singer, arranger, composer of a particular era of music that I'm incredibly fond of. And David, he plays drums, a little bit of piano. He is unbelievable. He's proper maestro. And yes, so and it is it's so much fun. I mean, I could talk to you all day about what you do and your lifestyle, but I think the one thing that really captured my attention when I heard your music, and I was like, is this is this real? Is this original? And then I discovered that David not only can play and sing and sound from the era that you're obviously your key era is the 30s,
yes, yeah.
but you wear it, you live the style and the clothing of the era as well, and that for me sort of sets you apart from some other amazing musicians that are achieving a lot in that era of music, that style of music. So firstly, if you have not heard of David and his music, you have to go and listen. It is unbelievable.
Absolutely.
You have to, and definitely follow, because to see this guy, wow, is unbelievable. He's an amazing performer.
Yeah, you should come to Berlin one day, right? You should.
I I will be coming to, definitely be
You
coming
should.
to Berlin.
I think
And
life is a total different experience because I mean, if you see the videos, you can see a snippet basically, but like there's a whole thing, like the whole experience, the way we interact with the musicians and the announcements and everything. I'm not posting everything.
that's it. And I think that's yeah, really as well in this sort of in this day and age. I think people they still love a live performance, and to actually go and see someone perform or people perform is a really, really special
Mhm.
experience. But of course, back in the 30s, that was the way to go and see music, records, radio, listening online, as it were, or through the waves, was it was growing. It was a new medium, whereas
Mhm.
live had been the staple of music and entertainment for a very long time. And I think potentially it sort of hit a real golden age in the 30s, where these performers were at the height of their game, and jazz, I think, sort of allowed for that to
And life,
happen.
yeah, life was such a total different experience than recording it because that's also one thing that many people are so used to listening to the studio recordings and they think that's how they played. They played the
Mm,
song for 3.5 minutes and you can't really hear the drums and everything is like, it's really good. But yeah, it's a studio recording, but live was a total different experience. Sometimes they would play songs for 20 minutes and they would like do a lot of show like because in the studio like you just sit there and you just play the notes, you know. But live, people, the saxophone section was standing up, synchronized, and they were waving their instruments. Some of them would throw the instruments up in the air, catch them, and play. They would
Wow.
dance. They would sing along, and they were just having fun. And then, most importantly, they were wearing the most elegant attire they ever had. And it wasn't just gray and black. It was like
Mm.
purple suits with yellow ties, green suits with red ties, with uh, different, like very crazy combinations. You can read a lot about what the musicians talked about and about their outfits. They would have, some of them would have like 10 different outfits. Imagine.
Wow,
Uh,
unbelievable. And that's something, David, I think, as I say, I think it really sets you apart from any, well, I say any other musician, but I think for me, it's very authentic, and it feels, as you
that's
said,
the
there's
goal.
really, and I think I'd love to. We'll delve a little deeper into how you obtain that authenticity and how long it's taken you to do that. But yeah, I think the fact is that it feels as if it's, as you said, it's a snippet, but it feels as though you're sort of stepping back in time, to those live performances. And so I think really what we can do is just dive straight in. And
Yeah,
I've got to ask you my
surprise me.
first, my first question. I'm dying to find out is your key influences.
Hmm.
Um, so in style, in music. I mean, when little David was growing up, and he said, "I want to be a drummer. I want to be a
Hmm.
performer. I want to be a musician." Who made you think that's who I want to be?
Um, so I have to explain my backstory in order to answer that. Is that my father, he basically played swing music since the 80s, and he was listening to that music since he was 3 years old. Because his grandfather, he was mainly a classic enthusiast, but he had a few jazz records of Django Reinhardt, Benny Goodman, Earl Hines. These people, my father was like really amazed by Benny Goodman. And also
Mm,
there are some records of Duke Ellington too. And yeah, in the late 80s, he formed his own band called the Swing Dance Band. And eventually it grew into a big band, and they used to rehearse in the living room. And my dad told me that when I was like 2 years old, I always came down to the living room and watched the drummer, because my father already had the idea to have this band that not only just plays like a band from the time, but also looks like a band from that time.
mm.
And so the drummer had a bass drum which was already 28 inches big, and I was kind of amazed. Apparently, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was that it was loud, that that the drummer had such a control over the band in terms of dynamics and feeling and tempo. And so we were walking. I think we had holidays. I think in Switzerland, and apparently I poked my dad and said, "I want drums." So my dad was like, "What?" And then, "Yeah, I want drums." And then he bought me this little toy snare. So they
Wow.
were sitting outside in the restaurant, and I was sitting on the street and playing the drums.
Oh,
And
I love
people,
it.
so
Do you still have
basically,
it?
it was my first busking gig.
Brilliant. I love it. Fantastic. And actually, that's interesting because it's a live performance that you saw. That that's what captured your imagination
Yeah,
and your attention. So
yeah, exactly.
um and you're absolutely right, sort of mentioning your father, who is um I I used to play clarinet a little. My word, your father's playing is unbelievable.
Wait,
His
wait a
band.
second. He's playing piano.
Oh, he's a pianist.
Yeah, he's a
Oh,
pianist.
okay. Well, your clarinet player.
Yeah, that's Lorenzo. That's
Wow.
Lorenzo. Oh my god, that will be so funny. I will tell him that.
Oh, sorry. We'll have to cut that. But
Let's keep that in.
keep it in.
We
Keep it
keep
in.
it. That's
Um,
super funny.
oh, I
I will
apologize.
call Lorenzo
Well,
now Papa.
I love it. Well, I mean, as a I say as a clarinet player, I literally
Lorenzo's friend.
I did some playing when I was younger, and so I've always had. I don't have a musical ear. I have a musical ear that appreciates amazing music.
Yes,
But
taste.
yeah, I cannot play it at all. I would love to just be able to pick something up and just play it, but
But
um,
actually, my father did play a bit clarinet, but I mean, he can pick up the clarinet, and he always plays "If I Had You," and yeah, it's okay, but that's,
so
there's
that
definitely
is
a
the
reason
thing.
why he's
Actually,
not
I
playing the
find
clarinet on stage.
the I say the I do find this a lot with a lot of my musician friends, particularly in swing jazz. Is that you go, oh, do you play any? You know, you play drums, and you say, oh, well, I can play piano a little, or I can play guitar, and you sound amazing. And you go, no, I don't play. I don't play. No, that's not my main instrument. And you just think, okay, fine.
No,
You live,
but the thing is with musicians is that you want to sound like a specific player maybe, or you have a certain standard. So I mean, I would say I'm not going to say I play a bit drums. I would say I'm a drummer.
yes,
I would say I can play piano, but I wouldn't go to a jam session and start demanding that I'm going to sit in now on the piano, because I just know, first of all, they're better players. Second of all, I'm not really an improviser. I can accompany myself, but it's okay for writing arrangements. And I did write also a lot of like pop songs, actually. I wasn't always swing in my life.
okay,
Yeah, but I have to admit, actually, drums was always swing.
yes,
I
yeah,
always, when it came to drums, it was always swing.
always.
Yeah.
And so, who did you want to sound like?
I think
On
the first my first idol was Gene Krupa, because like I grew up with the music of Benny Goodman, and
Mm,
automatically you you see Gene Krupa, and then you talk about Gene Krupa and you listen to him, and that's really kind of my first idol, I would say.
yes,
Um, Later on, I discovered that every drummer is my kind of idol, because every drummer, every single one of them has something that inspires me. And it was the same for the drummers back then. They would listen to everybody.
mm,
Everybody would have inspirations from different bands. Could be a hot band, but it could be also a sweet high society band
yeah,
when you play wonderful ballads, and just the way they play it, the
mm.
subtlety and the touch on it. And I would say the one that's in my heart is Chick Webb.
Oh, yes,
Because
okay.
Chick Webb is the father of them all.
Mm,
And then I have Gene Krupa, Buddy Rich, Joe Jones, and Big Sid Catlett, and Dave Tuff, and then I could go on. I could go through all of
yeah,
this. Like there's sometimes songs where I'm like, oh, this feels like a Zooty Singleton, or this song feels like a Joe Jones, or sometimes like obscure drummers, like people wouldn't know them really,
no,
and like, oh, this drummer, like I really like that. feeling.
Yes.
And I also really like Jimmy Crawford from the Jimmy Lansford band. Jimmy Lansford
Oh,
is
okay.
my favorite band. And so my what do you call my wallpaper on my phone is a real picture of Chick Webb, and then behind him is Cab Calloway hugging him, and
Wow.
behind Cab Calloway is Jimmy Lansford. And it's basically these are my three main inspirations. So
Yes.
Chick Webb is for the drumming and the excitement. Cab Calloway is for the performing style, also the
Mm,
excitement, and Jimmy Lansford is for the whole idea of how to lead a big band, how to approach a performance of a big band, because his band was not only just musically speaking exquisite, but it was also the main point of this band was to look good and to put a lot of effort in showmanship.
yes.
So these are my, so if people ask me like what are my main inspirations, I think I would show them this picture from
Yeah.
1937.
I mean, yeah, amazing. And to actually have, well, to actually have all of your, your key inspirations on one photo. I mean,
It's
that,
crazy.
yeah, that's awesome. And as you said, you've touched on this as well. There's elements there that, it's not just the drumming. You can't switch your ear off to all the other elements. And then, of course, you can't close your eyes
No,
to the
music is
performance.
being seen. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And people
Um,
nowadays, they don't really understand, or it kind of lost this
mm,
idea that music is not only just listened to, but also seen. And
yes.
you can see that with musicians coming on stage, and like you can feel like either they don't have fun, or maybe they're having fun, but they don't really show it. They are
Yes.
tired. They wear clothes that they could wear just going to the shopping mall and so on.
Mm,
Just like you have to feel there's no effort, and I feel that every single person wants to be in some way to be entertained. You know,
yes.
you come to a concert and you want to enjoy yourself,
Mm,
and I think it there should be a certain amount of respect. To be honest, I'm not saying you should come in a black tails. I'm not saying that, but
why
like
not, David?
I mean, I mean, but a certain yeah effort should be there. I think.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And I think, in some ways it's there a little in, sort of modern performers of today, whereas there is a big spectacle,
Yeah, that's true.
um, but it doesn't seem to filter down. I've noticed, there are a lot more, I think, musicians, performers, that they don't necessarily embody the era that they are inserting themselves in.
Mhm.
And I say this because I used to go to a lot of uh, jazz festivals, by a drummer by, you might know of him actually, John Petters. Uh,
Maybe, but I'm
yeah.
actually, I have to admit, I'm so bad with names.
Oh,
I
okay.
I can
Yes.
see faces.
You
Uh,
might recognize him,
yeah.
but he, he was very much constantly listening, and he would listen to a type of music or musician or
Mhm.
band, and would then base a jazz festival around that.
Mhm.
But they would never dress like, so it was, you were sat in a room, you're thinking, this doesn't encourage me to fully enjoy, the
Mhm.
music that they were creating.
Yeah.
And it was a shame, because it was their talent was unbelievable. But so when I sort of discovered you, which was just before
COVID.
lockdown, I think it was.
Hmm?
I think it was just before lockdown. I
Mhm.
stumbled across. Well, I heard you first, I heard your music first, and I was like, who's this guy? This is amazing, this music. And I went and found you, and I've always been a bit about, I love what you're doing. And you must have thought, who's this person, you know?
What's that? Jesus Christ.
Gosh, you know, keeps messaging me, and
Lock.
so but and you know, I think it's for me anyway, it's really important. If you see someone and you really appreciate what they do, it just give them it's free praise, you know, say,
Thank you so
I love
much.
what you're doing. And
I am really enjoying you saying that.
there you go. So
It's like sometimes I don't know how to react. I'm like, yeah, thank you, or like I feel like, hmm.
yeah. Yes, well, you say no more. That's too much. But no, I you know, genuinely though, you know, some of your, I think it's the performance that it was just wow, you know, unbelievable. And
Thank you.
in terms of, you know, you've touched on it already. You've got drums, you've got performance, you've then got the arrangement side, the playing
And
the
by
piano.
the way, I actually don't know how to read. I don't even know what it. I couldn't read my arrangement.
I was going to ask this because a lot of the jazz musicians I've met, or musicians I've met, they can't read music,
Oh,
or some of them, you know, they're classically trained, and then they went down this other route.
mm,
And you've touched on the fact that you've done some pop songs
yes,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
So, have you had
I
a bit
mean,
of a journey through eventually playing swing and doing what you're doing now?
well, as I've said, like drums was always swing, and I grew up with swing music. It was all around the house, but I
Mm.
also had my mom, so my mom would be a great influence in showing me soul and pop music and R&B and gospel and all these things which have nothing to do with swing. And that, of course, influenced my way of being on stage also. And because, like, it is kind of it is connected to
Mm.
everything basically, and everybody is picking something. I'm a big Michael Jackson fan, and Michael Jackson was a huge Fred Astaire fan, a huge Nicholas Brothers fan, and he met them all, and he was also tap dancing himself, and he was singing also songs from the 1930s too, and he just had a the way he was because what happened before him. And so yeah, I mean, I when Michael Jackson died, and I was 9 years old, and my mom was really sad, and I told her, you know what, I'm going to dance for you, Michael Jackson. So he's
Oh,
he's not he didn't die, so you can watch me dancing it, and so I started to learn every choreography, and I knew them all, and
wow.
like I could tell you, you want to see Billie Jean from 1984, or you want to see it from 1987, 88, 91, or 92,
Wow.
or 95. So many. I mean, I still got it. I think I would say Smooth Criminal. I forgot a bit, but I think if I would like watch it again, I could dance it again. And
That's amazing.
yeah,
So are you a self-taught tap dancer, or
I'm a self-taught drummer, but not self-taught tap dance. I started when I was 5, and I had a teacher. Um, but basically, I got the main steps basically, and I got the how you say the German word Grundschritte. I mean, yeah, like the basics.
the
And
technique?
yeah, yeah, the technique,
Yes.
and from then on, you have to figure out yourself what you want to do.
Mm.
You just create your own style, and that's what I'm doing. I'm basically always improvising on stage when I'm tap dancing, but I did
Okay.
also some choreographies myself. So depending on the song, maybe I should do that again actually. And singing, I started singing when I was 12. I remember the first song I sang was "Smile."
Oh wow, okay.
That was
And
my
that's an easy
first
one
song.
then to start off with.
It's also my WhatsApp status. The,
I like
and so I sang pop, I sang R&B, and
Mm,
I was also singing as a kind of guest, basically, of the big band of my father. And as the years went by, I started also writing music. I was producing it myself. Was kind of pop, R&B style, a bit of like 80s, 90s influence. And I've never released any of them actually, but there's some good songs actually. Some I really like writing ballads on the piano,
right.
and then writing the lyrics also with my dad. There's one song though I actually released called "Standing Right Here." I did had also a funny period in my life when so my mom is from Kenya, and basically Kenya was my second home, and there was this producer that wrote my mom, and he was like, "Yeah, I want to write songs for your son." So, and he let's record them and just release them and see what's going to happen. So he basically wrote songs. I would sing them. We shot some music videos, and then I became pretty famous in Kenya.
Oh,
So just like
wow, I love this.
for a short period of like I don't know, remember like 3 years maybe. Like I started when I was like 13. I still had like one tooth missing. And I did interviews. I was invited to shows, and it was a funny experience. But I stopped
Amazing.
that. And so there are videos, and people when they Google me, they sometimes like confused what they're seeing there. But for
I'm
the
gonna have to
record,
find
these
these.
are not my songs. I did not write them,
Right.
and I'm not a guy that shows off. But in this case, I want to say I like my songs more.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that was one period of my life, and when I also had kind of a break of drumming, and I remember it was a couple of years actually. I didn't drum really because yeah, and then when I was like 16, out of the blue I started being very interested again into
Mm,
drumming, and then the whole thing about swing. I was I was still part of the band. I was like always singing like two songs maybe. But then I started to get really, really interested in everything, like the whole history, the whole idea of playing this music. How do you do that? And how they did it, and reading all those books and watching interviews. And then I wanted to dress like that. My father used to dress like that. Then he
mm.
lost a lot of weight. And then he thought finally he can wear those suits from H&M or whatever.
Yeah.
And and then I was a bit disappointed in that because it looked really good on him. And I told him
Yeah.
also, you can sell the band much better if you wear these suits. And so I started wearing these suits, and people they automatically approach me and ask me what I do, and I say, yeah, I'm a swing musician, and but I'm not just wearing it because I want to sell the band. I,
No,
I
it's
I'm wearing
yeah.
the suits because I've seen those pictures. I've seen like, wow, they played this music with so much fun and
Mm,
enthusiasm, but they looked so sharp.
yeah.
I- How did they do that? I want to feel that. I want to know
Yeah.
how they did it. So that's why I started doing that. And then I realized, wow, those pants are really comfortable. The high waist, the wide leg, you have just like, you can move around as much as you want, or as much as you can.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I started wearing these things when I was 17. So before that, I was wearing Air Jordans and snapbacks, and really, I was a kind of swagger. And then
Oh, I love it.
and then after the summer holidays, I came with black and white shoes. high-waisted pants, a tie,
Amazing.
and like I told, and I styled my hair, and people were so confused.
What have you done with David?
Yeah, like was,
Amazing.
but I was they accepted it very quickly, and also
Yes.
like because they saw it's a really nice style, it's very elegant, and I was still the same David also,
Mm.
and yeah, and I started collecting these things, and I'm still doing that.
Yes. Well, it is a yeah, once you start collecting, it's
You
it's
can't stop.
it's a slippery slope, isn't it? And wait until you start using your collection to create pieces, and then all of a sudden you don't have one, you have hundreds in different sizes, and then you need a shop, and then you need to create campaigns and a shop and start selling online and all sorts. So yeah, it is a very slippery slope.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I think when I see you, I am immediately, I think the elegance of the era, and then it's like, oh gosh, it actually sounds like, the music is. Now I think when you sing, I can hear a bit of Alboli.
Mhm. Yeah.
I
Many
said
people say that.
a
It's
lot of
interesting.
Alboli.
Yeah.
Um, so
I love
I
them.
just wonder, is that deliberate? Is that something that you've?
Well, as I said, with the drummers, every drummer is influencing me. So with singers, like if people ask me what is your main influence, I would feel bad to just single out one person because everybody was
Mm,
influencing me. And of course, Al Bowley is a big inspiration too. It's like very soft touch, and like when he sings, you just want to hug him. It's like it will be okay. Like
yeah,
he's like, come here to me.
yeah. Amazing. I mean, how he transformed the use of a microphone, and
Hmm.
his the technicality behind the development
Yes,
as a singer
exactly. It
is.
was very
Um,
delicate. It was very soft, and yeah, it really felt like he's just singing for you and not for
mm,
100,000 people. Of course, I
yes,
also like Bing Crosby. I like Frank Sinatra. I like Dick Haymes. Now I count all of the band singers. Of course, there's
yeah,
some band singers I wouldn't call an influence. Like, there's some singers who are like, okay. But
yes,
yeah, I mean, definitely, Alboni was an influence, and um, but again, you have your influences, but it's very important to not copy. That's what I've
mm,
learned from all those interviews and books that everybody was influencing, or like it wasn't stealing. It was like just like maybe borrowing, you could say.
yeah,
Um, I mean, of course, there was also some stealing too, but most of all was like kind of borrowing like during jam sessions or when they listen to records. And it was very important to have your own sound because
mm,
you wanted to be unique. That's one
yes,
thing that made the swing era so special, or the hot jazz era too, that everybody wanted to be unique. So you could never, it was the worst thing if somebody would say, you sound like, or you are
yeah,
exactly like this one. That was
yes,
a nightmare.
yeah.
And
Yeah, you didn't want to be the imitation.
yeah.
You wanted to be your own act,
Exactly.
and
That's what I'm doing. I
yeah,
am with the big band. Basically, I'm writing my own versions of the 1930s, the songs. I'm
mm,
not copying exactly the arrangement from July 17, 1937, take two. Like
mm,
people do that, and it's okay. For me, I would rather listen to the original because that's how they came from their heart. So they didn't
yes,
say some. It's not classical music. It's still, and so same with the singing. Of course, I'm influenced by many people, but I still have my own idea, my own way, because my voice
mm,
is my voice. I would.
Yes.
Like, and also same with the drumming. Like I have my abilities how to play drums, and then
Yeah.
I'm getting influenced by certain sounds, but I am me.
That's it. And I think the and this is it's I say it's a bit of an anomaly really, because you are like that, and because obviously you've listened and you've taken everything in,
Mm.
um, you sound more authentic because of that, because it almost tricks the ear to going, oh, is that no, that's is this is this an original? And you can't, you have to second guess all the time. So even if you are a huge fan, people have listened to that one song hundreds and hundreds of times, and you know how it goes, all of a sudden, if you hear a different version and you sort of, oh, I know this, and then it sounds the similar but authentic. You think, gosh, okay. But then on the other side of it, David, you've got that authentic, you're paving your own way. But then your style is incredibly authentic, and it's a bit of I say two sides of the same coin, because I bet you're a real stickler for, you think that's not right, that's
Yeah,
wrong, that's the wrong cut, that's this.
like yeah, that's
And
true.
yeah. So
Uh,
you've got this freedom in your music,
yeah,
and then it's no, it has to be absolutely correct.
basically, yeah. I mean, um, it's a language. Like you learn
Mm,
this language, and you can be as free as you want, but there's a certain barrier. Like you, that's like then, if you want to speak this language, then you need to use the words, the grammar, and there are exceptions. There are many things that you can change, but it's very important to still have that language. And it's like what I'm doing is having the musical language, the appearance on stage that has to be, in my opinion, in this certain way. Uh, and you can move around a lot in that language.
mm,
Um, and of course, if as musicians that don't have like this view on how to play this music, it's first bit hard to understand my plan or what I want them to do. But when they see how I'm having fun on stage and
mm,
that you're not really limited, then I think they get very motivated into digging very deep, because they think, let's be honest, the swing era was very short. Like the
mm,
official swing era was 35 to 43 or 44. Of course, swing was played even before, but like officially the period was 35 until 44. And you think like that's like nothing.
mm,
There's so much that happened. There's so many details. I'm still learning so much, and I think when I'm 90 years old, there will be still so much to learn about that.
yes, yeah,
And yeah, so same with the suits. There is a lot of freedom. There are, of course, I hate to say it, like rules. I mean, back then everything existed. Everybody did everything. I'm
yes,
Sometimes like people would say, no, you cannot wear what was it? Black tails with one stripe. I was like, what? They say it's always with two stripes. This is not true. Like, so
yeah,
you want to tell me like the Nicholas brothers, Cap Calloway, Ellington, and all these people, they were not authentic. They were they were wrong. Um, or like other like you should only wear slippers with the with the tails. Like that's not true. Or people would say you can only wear a certain tie or that. No, it's you can move around a lot. And
mm,
for me, like when I'm wearing this fashion, I'm thinking more about the Harlem style. Because like I'm black, so I'm very much influenced by black people, how they dressed back then, how much pride they had um, while being discriminated like every single second,
Mm,
and every area, and they still had the energy and the power to look nice because
yeah.
they were strong. They wanted to show that they're not just what they were used to be told, the stupid, lazy black one. They wanted to show they were intellectual and they were proud of how they are, proud
Mm,
of their art, of their history and the culture. So that's also one aspect on how I dress and how I want to play this music. And I also like the style of the Hollywood, the golden Hollywood thing,
yeah.
which is not like how people really dressed. Like it was a more
Yeah, it's a bit
conservative
of rose
way.
tinted, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, because people they always see those studio pictures from
Mm,
Cary Grant and Clark Gable, and it's really nice. But I'm seeing a lot of pictures from. It's like really nice. You should get that app, Getty Images, and just type CBS, and then any year like 1936, 1937, 1938, and they have like so many high quality photos they
mm,
did in the studio, and you can see how they dressed, and it's really interesting. The
yeah.
plain fabrics, the combinations. Sometimes combinations where if I would wear it, people would say, "No, that you cannot do that.
Yeah.
That's not authentic."
Yeah. Well, I
Like, look
think
at me. I'm wearing this jacket, and I'm wearing then these pants, and it
amazing.
works.
Yes. And I think as well, as you said, there was a lot of experimentation with, or, listening to others and being influenced by others music wise. But also, that you've got the same people, the same entertaining, creative minds. They're not going to, they're going to go, I like that and that, and they're going to put that together. And that's actually, we're looking back with hindsight now and go, oh, this guy was a style icon, or this woman was, a style icon. And as you said, they were creating their own rules. And I think it's lovely to hear that, you are doing the same thing, but you're informed, you have a lot of knowledge, um, music and, lifestyle wise, and you're making it your own.
Mm.
But it has that authenticity, which I think is so, it's hard to see. There's not many people that achieve that,
Oh,
um,
thank
and
you.
and of course, it's not just yourself as well, Dave. You have the trio, and I love your suits.
Yeah, and we got new ones too. We
All
went on.
matching. I love it.
Yeah, we
Absolutely
so we went.
fine.
We were playing in Thailand, and then we found this tailor, which basically made suits in 1 or 2 days, and I could just tell them anything basically, but I would be very specific.
Mm.
So like down to the detail on how where to put this the notch you call it thing.
The buttonhole.
Yeah, the buttonhole.
Yes.
Exactly. In we how that should be parallel to this line and then shouldn't be too high. It should be like very balanced out. Kind of here. These
Amazing.
kind of things and that the lapel shouldn't be like that up, like should be more like this
Yeah.
down. There are things like that. And he did it. And
Amazing.
we have this we didn't post it yet, but I think for the next gig we will wear these suits will be like gray greenish with very like cream stripes, like a pinstripe suit, single
Wow.
breasted with peak lapel. Whew.
I
My plan is
love
to
it.
have even more outfits for the trio because I want to
Yes.
bring the standard back. I want to bring the standard back
Yeah.
of bands having different outfits and having it fitted perfectly. And especially when it comes to high waisted trousers. I don't know what the thing is nowadays, but I don't know. People are a bit afraid of very high waisted pants because in the 30s
Yeah.
they were high. Not all of them, of course, not all of them, but they were high, and it looks
They
really cool.
were. Yeah. They were. And I think sometimes. again, it was an era of experimentation, and you know, they would try these different things, and we've just we went out of that, where the other extreme was, let's go as low as we possibly can. And I think, fortunately, we're sort of coming out of that era now, where, you know, there's more and more options. But yeah, I mean, you're speaking to the converted in terms of high-waisted slacks and trousers, for men and women. And I think you're absolutely right. You know, in terms of, they're a very practical garment.
Exactly.
So
I also like mixing colors. I really like
yeah,
bright colors. Of course, you need to have a certain amount of confidence to wear these things, but people always will like it. I mean, I don't remember like one being mad seeing me like this. I
no,
don't, it's
no,
like, yeah, but like, yeah, you are going to be watched because it's a special thing, yes. But try to embrace it in a dignified way.
mm. And
Uh,
also, as well, you know, you want to wear something that has potential to give you more confidence,
mm,
rather than just something that will make you, you know,
yeah,
just
of course.
remain the same. You think, well, you know, try something, and this style may not be for everyone, but
Mm,
I think it's wonderful, you know, when someone says, "This is, I I feel it now. This is who."
yeah,
It's
of
really,
course,
really
you can
wonderful.
only wear something that you are really comfortable in, of course.
Yeah.
But some people are like, I've noticed sometimes people would wear something and see like, wow, this looks so good on you, like it's amazing. And they would say, yeah, but I don't know, like maybe it's a bit too big, or maybe it's this. I mean, like the hat is maybe too big, or
Yeah.
like the color is too bright. Like, just try it out.
Yeah. Give it a go. Yeah.
Just give it a go.
So,
Yeah.
one question, actually, because you've mentioned that you've had a few suits made, and obviously, you know, you want to go down that route. The practicality, or the reality of finding, you know, three identical suits in different sizes, from that era. That's,
We did find three identical ties from the 30s, so we're wearing
oh
these.
wow,
But,
amazing. Um, so I'm guessing then you're going down the route now of, you know, potentially having bespoke items made, or finding a respectable company such as Stanley Biggs, maybe,
Mhm.
where, you know, you can say, well, actually, we can have all the same matching, you know, different sizes, etc.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, with that in mind, though, and you've just pointed out that, you know, you do have original pieces. Do you tend to do that? Are you going more that way now, where you're having
Yeah.
reproduction items, or, you know, made items?
Yeah, because like I'm a rather tall guy for vintage fashion. I'm 184 and I have long legs, and I like those pants high. So that means it reduces a bit more the possibility to find a perfect fitted suit. I have a lot
Mm,
from the 30s and 40s, I do. Uh, Most of them had to be adjusted, like the, you like in the like in all those years collecting, you discover tricks. You need to know, okay, this suit has a certain amount of inseam, and I know I can lengthen
you can
suit.
get
I
away.
can
Yes.
let it out and make a fake cuff, and it would still look good.
Mm,
And but sometimes you want that perfect suit, and I got even more perfectionistic, and so yeah, I started out. There's a guy in Shanghai that made suits for me, and I was like, oh my god, okay, let's go. And so I would like, now it's like I could see a suit. I'm like, okay, I think I can make that done, and it's perfect.
mm.
And now in Thailand, I had this guy, and maybe Stanley Biggs.
Maybe,
And
maybe.
maybe you never know. But I still wear and also sometimes collect. still 1930s clothes, but I'm more particular about that it's almost perfect size, because back then I just bought everything I could and
Mm.
hoped for the best.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
some I would have like a suit that was much too big for me, but I would have it tailored, and then at the end the pockets were basically at my butt.
Yeah, wrong positioning. And so, well, it's nice to I mean, obviously we're producing clothing, and to see it being uh have a it's creating its own era, which is great. And there's a new style, which is the fact that original pieces are original pieces and they're great, but you will be limited.
Yeah.
And it's reassuring for me anyway to hear that that there are authentic seekers, where getting it right is important, but to actually have the choice of getting the right fit, the right
Mm,
fabrics as well. I'm sure you find this, David, where the fabrics are key to, 'cause you can have the most beautifully fitted suit, for instance, and it could be cut perfectly, but if it's in polycotton,
mm,
it's not going to look authentic. It's not going to look right.
mm.
So but yes, there's another element that I wanted to ask about is your overall performance. Obviously, you guys, the trio in particular, you have your matching outfits, you have your own arrangements, you have your tap dancing, your singing, your drumming, you're amazing. Sasha is your pianist, and another style icon. He's
Yeah.
so amazing, isn't it? It's so
Yeah.
different as well to
True.
your own style, which is great.
Yeah, because he's like more into the casual style.
Yes,
I
yeah,
mean, he's also his horizon is a bit bigger than mine. He's also very much into 50s, also into 60s, like early
yeah.
60s.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
Um, I'm now very much focused on 30s because I love that music, so I always connected with
Mm.
that. But I'm not against any
No,
like.
no,
So if I get a 50s suit, of course I wear 50. I mean, I even wore once for a party. I wore a 70s outfit. I was like, actually,
yeah,
yeah.
it
But
works.
I, Sasha
Yeah.
Sasha is a great stylist. He was actually also a big inspiration for me when I started out because he was doing that long time before I started. And I remember I showed him a jacket which was my first 1930s jacket. I was so proud, and he touched it and he saw it and was like, "That's not 30s, that's 70s." I was like, "No, no, no. The shop owner said it's 30s.
Yeah,
That's 100% 70s."
yeah. It's the fabric, isn't it? And
Fabrics,
yeah,
fabrics, and also the style. Like
mm,
my eyes are different. Like I see things different now than what I saw back then. Now I can immediately say this is authentic. This is not. I could immediately say that it could be like, for example, I was playing at the swing festival, and there was a guy that had a really nice jacket with a belted bag, and was a nice fabric, like yellow check kind of, and the wool was real wool, but I could still see it's from the 90s.
yes.
There's just like little details.
Little bits, yes.
And you can be also surprised. Sometimes you think it's from the 90s, but actually it's from the 20s. Like
Mm.
sometimes you get also confused. But I think now after like 7 years, or maybe it's already eight, no, 7 years. I
Is it only that long that you've been? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
7 years, crazy.
Gosh. Okay. I Yeah. Okay. There's amazing, amazing, because it is you're incredibly, your eye for detail is truly. I thought you'd have been doing this a bit longer, um, but I mean, everything combined, the whole feel. I mean, I can't wait to come and see you guys perform.
It's also
But
really funny, like, because we're like joking around the whole time on stage because
yes,
we're kind of like brothers. So like there are
yeah.
always inside jokes that we have. And also now Lorenzo, he wants to start wearing this fashion. Like we kind of got
Right.
him.
But I think it's great to see, that rapport and hark back to Al Bowley. He was a bit like that, where his personality came through, and where he jumping on the piano and
Mm,
sort of throwing hats and things
mhm.
at cameras and stuff, and it's and you can see that carry on through to Frank Sinatra, and but you have these what I think anyway, I can tell, you have these most amazing venues that you perform in.
Yeah.
And I've got to ask, because I want to come anyway, but for anyone who's really into the vintage scene or who just wants to go and have a taste, if they were to come and see you, where would you say, so top 3 locations, where would we go to see you perform?
Nowadays, oh, sorry, you want to say something? So,
Uh, yeah, you answer that. Yeah.
so nowadays, I would say the best thing would be coming to Berlin, to Ballhaus Berlin, which is
Bauhaus.
Ballhaus.
Okay.
It's an
Running.
old yeah. It's like Ball, Ball,
Okay.
and then House, which is the German version, is
Yeah.
Haus. And it's an old ballroom from I think 1914 or something. Of course, it has been changed, but the special thing is that every table has its own old telephone, and you can call the other table and say, "Hey, you really look beautiful. Let's dance."
Amazing.
Or you would say, "Don't drink that," or something.
Brilliant.
And my big band is playing there 2 times a month.
Wow.
um,
Okay.
on Monday. It's called Monday Swing. And this is a really nice event because, first of all, the big band is there. And then you have dances. You can also sit, but the whole atmosphere has this kind of like party
Yeah.
thing. And
Amazing.
so
Fantastic.
that's a lot of fun, I would say. I would also say come to the concert halls, like
Okay.
Konzerthaus, or I was playing recently at Admiralspalast, and I will be playing there again on the 8th of December, if I remember. And these are really nice theaters, and
Yeah.
it's a different approach how we play. I mean, we're still having a lot of fun, a lot of drive, but since there's no noise of people dancing, you listen more to details,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
you play a bit differently. And
Yeah.
I like both. I like playing for dancers and playing for a sitting audience. So I think these would be really nice occasions. As for the trio, the thing is, the trio is traveling a lot.
Mm.
Where Sasha is living in Stuttgart, which is 7 hours from Berlin, and Lorenzo is from Milan. And so basically, we travel a lot. We play a lot in France. We played in Thailand, and we tour around Europe basically.
Amazing. Will you come to the UK?
There is actually a possibility where it could
Oh,
come, but
amazing.
it's not confirmed yet. But I maybe in
Oh,
the
fingers
beginning of
crossed.
the year.
Oh,
Yeah.
fingers crossed then, because that would have to be, I'd have to cancel everything else. And so,
Everything
yes,
doesn't matter how
nothing
important.
else matters. So now, if, let's say, I was to come to Berlin
Hmm.
and I would go see you perform, but I love my vintage. I want to go shopping as well.
Hmm.
So, where are there any vintage markets or
I would I
shops
would
that you frequent?
shops. I would say shops. Like my main shop is Glencheck, Berlin.
Okay.
Um, I know them for a very long time, and this shop is just it's a small shop. It's very cozy, and you just go in, and then you're also kind of transported back because like everything is Art Deco
Oh, wow.
and they limited themselves in clothings from 1920 till 1955 or 1960,
Wow.
and they're very much into details. Like everything looks really good, and you should definitely check out Glencheck.
Yes.
And
Okay.
they always have something. Like you can always ask them, like, I'm looking for a shirt, and suddenly they pick out like a box full of really nice shirts and or hats, suits also. And but if you don't find anything there, which could happen, I don't think it will happen, but it could happen. Then I would suggest to go to Spitze, Berlin, which is very near Glencheck.
Yeah.
If the weather is nice, you can walk there. Like it's
Oh, wow.
10 minutes, maybe,
Yeah.
15. And it's also really nice. You find there also a lot of evening attire, like a lot of like tuxedos and tails, and a lot of dresses too. If I remember correctly, they have like a lot of 30s, 40s dresses. And yeah, this kind of there was also this shop Mimi. I haven't been there for a long time. I know that they're now tending more to 60s, 70s, but again, I don't know. Haven't been there for a long time, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would suggest Glenschig Spitze. And then we also have a lot of secondhand shops. Um, but I for men, if men want to find 30s things, you will have to have a lot of time and a lot
Yeah.
of patience.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you really want to find
Go to
something
Stanley
now,
Bakery.
yeah, or just go to Stanley Bakes. Just go to England.
Just go to England, yeah.
Just go to
So,
England and come back.
and my final, so I've gone shopping. I've listened to an amazing band. Where do I go? Where do I go to finish the whole the vintage vibe? Where do I go for an amazing meal and maybe a few drinks?
I would suggest for drinks and actually also nice meals, is go to the Bellboy Bar, which is a really nice bar. It's rather new, I would say. It's in Stadtmitte, and basically the middle of Berlin. And it's like from outside you can't really see it, but like it looks like from the 1930s. It's a
Wow.
really nice, elegant bar, and the drinks look spectacular. They're very creative on how to serve the drinks, like
Yeah.
from everything, serving it from an oyster to a bathtub, and from a crocodile's mouth, or you have
Wow.
like the Hulk hand. It's like it's crazy. And I also play there sometimes on Sundays.
Oh,
So
amazing.
So this is a nice bar, and they have really nice food, and prices are not that bad actually. It's okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Brilliant.
and the restrooms are interesting, I would say.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
special experience.
Okay.
It's nice, but it's special.
It's
I'm not saying
unique. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Okay.
unique.
Oh, it's yeah. I'm intrigued now. So I would always say always judge an establishment by the toilets, the bathrooms.
If you
Uh,
come to Berlin, yeah, you maybe shouldn't judge by the toilets because it's a thing. Berlin is known for being rough. So like there
oh
could be a
well,
really nice a cool place is basically a place that is full of graffiti and looks like yeah, it has been raided and left like that for 3 years. But it's a cool place
yeah.
and people go there and it's completely full. Yeah. You should
But
also
yeah.
also a nice place to check out ragtime music and 20s music and have this experience of like old Berlin is going to a place called Speiches. Uh,
Spices.
yeah, it's like Speicches, and it's a
Right.
pub, and it looks like old small pub from the 20s, and there's this band playing every Sunday called the Time Rack Department. They play ragtime music, really authentic. They don't look authentic, but if you close your eyes, they really you feel like, oh my god, where am I?
Wow.
And there's also the bar, and this woman that sings old German cabaret from the 20s.
Oh, wow.
It's
Amazing.
really nice. And then you have all these drunk people, and it's completely smoky, and they say, "This is mine, Berlin." It's really, it's a,
Wow. Oh,
yeah,
amazing. Well, I mean, that's a weekend sorted, I'd say.
yeah, exactly.
Definitely. So, and I personally definitely want to come, but I hope that has obviously given a few people a few places of interest and
Yeah,
given you a vintage weekend away in Berlin would be amazing. So
yeah,
now, obviously, we've mentioned some of the places that you play, some
yeah.
of the people that you play with as well. But if I can't come and see you, if we can't come, are you going to be doing a new album, or can I listen to more of your music anywhere else?
Yes, you can on Bandcamp.
Band.
Um,
Okay.
Bandcamp, you can type my name, David Hermlin, and that would be my trio album. There's actually a new album coming up. It's basically we recorded already, and the design is already there, but it still has to be printed, has to be pressed, and
Amazing.
I think it will come out beginning of next year, and this will be new songs that we played on the stage. Of course, in the studio, it's a different experience, but
Yes.
you can listen to that. And also, the big band has a rather new album called Swing is on Parade, which is also a composition of mine. And it's the first album since, I think, what was it, like 6 years? And the special thing about it that it's the first album also where I am the musical director of this orchestra, because in the big band I'm not only just writing all the arrangements, but I'm also doing the rehearsals,
Wow.
and basically everything what you see and hear on stage is me.
Wow.
And also
There
do the
we go.
choreographies and everything. So you can listen to that. Also, you can listen to that on our website. I mean, you can buy it. The website is called swingdanceorchestra.de.
Brilliant.
And
Yeah, I'm gonna go and treat myself to some new CDs, I think.
yeah,
And I've got to ask, because I think this would be a next step for you.
mm.
Well, you've already done some videos. You've already done music videos in your previous life. But are you going to do any short films or music videos?
Well, there is a plan in like doing music videos for the big band too. For the trio, nothing really now in the making, but there is something that there is in works of a little film, but it's like still very much under the radar.
It's not right. Okay. Well, I
But it
look forward
will,
to seeing. Yeah, definitely. I think you need to. It's because as you said, it's not just about listening. It's about
yeah,
experience, seeing that, and and of course, people can't come to see you live. I know it's a
yeah,
different thing, but
yeah. No,
uh,
but definitely music video is an important thing, and we need new material. I mean, we have some nice material from the Bauhaus gigs, some nice videos, but I already have ideas how to do a really nice, soundy like
oh,
video.
mate,
That would be really nice. But now we're like totally busy with the Christmas season that's coming up. I wrote some new arrangements, and we have a lot of Christmas concerts and
Yes.
here and there. So it's amazing how fast the time just like flies
Uh,
away.
yeah,
Like suddenly it's Christmas.
I think this is it, is, you know, because I think people forget that everything takes energy and time and practice and
Mm,
rehearsals and preparation and planning and you know, and for things to align, for things to all come together, and for one you know, performance, or
mm,
for a few minutes while you're recording. It's the
mm.
energy and effort is unbelievable. So but it really, I think, for me anyway, I mean, I'm you know, I'm not uh, I'm not a musician in any way, but for someone, I love you know, sort of seeing it, and I think it really shows all the energy and effort and the dedication. It just, yeah, it's fantastic. So I want to come to Berlin and, you know, come and see
Be my
you
guest.
guys, you know. So but and thank you so much for, you know, me letting me bend your ear on it, because it's fascinating. We could chat for hours more, but
Mhm.
I'm conscious you've got your burrito that you need to
Oh my
finish.
God. Yeah, I need to finish my burrito. That's like the next segment. I'm telling you, we're just eating and just talking, just like casual.
Lunch day, it's a great idea. I think we need to but just for let everyone aware, we had this idea the minute we started recording, so we couldn't plan ahead too
Yeah.
much. So I don't actually have my lunch with me at the minute, but yeah, it's a uh, well, thank you so much for being my guinea pig, and
Yeah.
let me interview you.
I'm still alive. I made
You're
it.
still here. You're still here, and
Did we record?
we thank God I pressed record, and my friends will know it's technologically well, it's possible for me to fail well, for technology to fail on me. It's a very
just,
common thing.
just
So
don't delete it. That would be like.
yes, that won't happen. I hope it will just automatically save. This is so.
Yeah. No, it
Oh,
has been a lot of fun. I must say, and it's I like talking about the swing era. I like talking about like every aspect of it: the clothes, the music, the musicians, like the struggle and everything. And I can really talk like a lot about it. I do talk it actually every Sunday on my radio show, but it's in German.
oh well,
Yeah.
we have a well. This hopefully, I have a lot of German customers actually, which is why you know, I was hoping to, you know, sort of well, hoping to ask you to give them somewhere to, you know, to go and visit. I'm sure many of them have already seen you, but yeah. So, what is your
So
radio show?
I have a radio show on the radio station called Jazz Radio. It's a Berlin Brandenburg station uh, on 106.8 FM. But you can also listen to it via stream. It's on www.jazzradio.net. And
Brilliant.
then you can live stream it. It's called Swing It with the Hermlins, and it's every Sunday between 12 and 2 p.m. Berlin time, 12 2 p.m. Berlin time. And I am basically, it's a 2 hour show where I play the original songs, recordings from the 30s and 40s, and I talk about the history behind it.
Wow.
Talk
Oh,
about the
okay.
little funny stories,
I'll
and
have
there's
to.
always something new.
Yes, I'll have to tune in.
You can
So
learn some German from it, maybe.
I will tell you I will finish on an anecdote from for myself. I was actually advised to stop learning German at school because I was that bad. It was it was a waste of time, apparently.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's
it was really,
that's
really bad.
harsh.
Yeah,
Like
so
like they
I
wouldn't even want to have your money. They were like, just stop.
yeah, they just said you're just going to pull the average down. Just don't bother. So yeah, so I moved over to Latin.
Wow, even easier.
So, but there isn't an oral exam, so I didn't have to learn to speak the language, which is the thing I've completely failed on.
Would you like to learn it, or is it like something that's just too exhausting?
I'm not. I think this is very typical. I think of a lot of British people is we are terrible at other languages. We're not linguists at all.
Because everybody has to learn your language.
And it's made us very, very, very lazy. But saying that, I'm trying to learn Dutch.
Dutch.
So
No, it's okay. Hey, Dutch is fine. I'm not like laughing
really
at the
hard.
people of Netherlands. It's just like out of all languages, you chose
know.
Dutch.
I know. So you can see, yeah.
It has a similar, but I can kind of get it because like there's English in Dutch and the rhythm is. I mean the Dutch people, they're like really good at English. Like,
Yes.
you can go to anyone, like literally anyone. You go to a little convenience store somewhere in the back, and they speak.
They'll be fluent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, be with the Stanley Biggs link, we go to the Netherlands a lot, and I thought I need to start. I want to just have a few sentences at the very least, and I'm horrific. But during lockdown, I did a Dutch poem that my friend sent over, and it was part of, they'd send me stories, and I would do these stories. And I obviously had no idea what it was about.
I hope it wasn't something bad.
It was awful, but it was hilarious. But yeah. So, but I would love to. But unfortunately, I like music. It's yeah.
But Dutch and German, they have like. If I really try hard to listen and understand and decode Dutch, I could understand some things.
Yes.
Because like they have some
There's
German.
a similarity. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some similarities.
I develop an ear. I'm better at listen. I can read. Read a bit of German. French, I'm better at, but it's the speaking. I just, my confidence just goes, oh no, I'm saying it completely wrong, and then I just double guess on it.
I think it's at the end, it's again practice. You just have to, like, if you would say you would live in Germany and you're just surrounded by Germans and you just like listen a lot to that, you pick up some words and eventually you'll be like Arnold Schwarzenegger,
I would definitely, yes. I think I would probably I would pick up a German accent. So I would speak English with a German accent.
Maybe.
Yes. Probably. That's probably more likely.
Yeah, that would be really funny. Oh my God. I didn't learn German, but what I did learn.
I learned to speak English with a German accent.
Yeah.
So I'll work on that anyway. But
okay.
But again, a complete digression. But thank you so much, David. It has been a real pleasure, and it's been well, I've been a fan for several years. And
thank you.
It's been really, really lovely just chatting with you and understanding, your journey and your career as well. And I can't wait to see where it goes, because you're still on this path, you're on this trajectory, which
thank you so much. That's very nice of you. Thank you.
No, well, it's it's a pleasure, and thank you. Just keep doing what you're doing, because I love it. So
I will.
Thank you. So
thank you very much. I enjoyed it a lot, and hope to see you soon again. And let's do that again with some burrito or some lunch.
I think so. Yeah, we'll have another lunch date. Definitely.
Yeah, let's do that. There's so much more we can talk about.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Bye bye.
It's bye.